Back in time. We pile into our Range Rover and go for our first game drive into Arusha National Park. Here is where I face my first challenge. Early on, as I was introducing Christopher to my phobias, I explained about a panic attack I once had, crammed in the back of a minivan. As it turns out, Jack, the Oklahoma oil man, also has car sickness. Although he wants shotgun, he graciously gives it up to me this first morning. Our first sighting of giraffe and zebra far off in the distance brings a rush. Suddenly, we have been transported back in time. This is where sitting shotgun becomes a handicap. In the back, behind my seat, the top of our Range Rover pops up, allowing an unobstructed view. In the back, the others lean out of the pop-tops and click away happily. Inevitably, each animal seems to be on the other side of the vehicle from where I sit. I climb out of the window, lean over the windshield, trying to take photos of tiny wildlife with my tiny camera. John warns me to stay inside the vehicle. These really are wild animals. On this first drive, the drivers have coordinated their schedule. We will tour the park and then, to get back to the lodge in time for lunch, leaving through the lower gate rather than the entrance we used this morning. The radio communication is poor at best. After our 3-hour tour, we are ready to head back. The two vehicles become separated and we arrive at the lower gate before the others. The paperwork is in the other vehicle with Leo, and we cannot leave through the lower gate as planned. The guards at the gate are very convincing with their AK-47s as we sit there for 20 minutes. Nature calls, and the other ladies and I are offered an impromptu lesson on what it is like to pee in a third world country. We enter a small, smelly hut, are presented with a hole in the floor and nothing more. One is expected to straddle the hole and squat to do her business. The three of us are horrified, but we have no alternative. It might be hours before we can reach a real bathroom. When my turn comes, I don't position myself properly, and while holding my breath, end up peeing all over my shoes. After a long wait, no radio communication, our exit blocked, we do the only thing we can do, go back the way we had come. John turns the Range Rover around and proceeds to backtrack, going so fast on the bumpy dirt road that I am sure we will end up in a ditch. John is pissed at Leo and it shows. We keep up the pace until we reach the entry gate nearly 40 minutes later, returning along the same route that took us 3 hours on the way in. My arms ache from holding on, and I am thankful I am sitting in the front instead of the back, where it is really bumpy, and where Jack sits cursing Leo through his nausea. And it is these things, rather than the sheer astonishment of the animals we have witnessed on our first morning of our first game drive, that are ingrained in my memory. We finally arrive back for lunch, albeit a bit shaky. Christopher's plan is to keep us going all day until we are utterly exhausted, and I will be forced to sleep even though my internal clock is ticking in daylight 13 time zones away. We are scheduled to visit the city of Arusha this afternoon. After this morning's new Disney ride, Angry Safari Guide, I am not anxious to get back in the Range Rover. Still, I meet at the assigned place at the assigned time with my backpack, determined not to be labeled the sissy of the trip. When I reach the parking lot, it appears that only one vehicle will be going and John has been sent on his way. I look around and count heads. There are 8 of us. The vehicle will only hold 7 plus the driver. Also, this is the smoking car, and posturing between the smokers and the non-smokers looks like a catfight I certainly don't have the heart for at the moment. My bed calls to me from behind the mosquito netting in my room. A nap would be welcome, and I graciously offer to bow out while managing to save face. I have just the teeniest pang of regret at not going on this afternoon excursion into the city. Weighing the consequence, I walk the walk of the dejected, inwardly jumping for joy towards my room in slumber. I only get a few paces when I am called back. Christopher doesn't want me to miss anything on this trip and tells Leo to call John on the radio and bring him back. I had nearly made my escape, but it seems I am destined to go on. So I once again take my cherished seat and embark on a visit to Arusha. If I had been unprepared for a hole in the ground for a toilet, nothing prepared me for that first exposure to city life in Africa.